Yeah.
Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, everybody. I'm Aradhana Tiwari, founder of Be the Change page, an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, an empowering coach, and your friend. And
You
today
cannot start
I'm
the
here.
video because the host has.
Oh, 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 you have to mute. Sorry. Um, awesome. Welcome everyone who so is joining us here, and I will just let you know what this whole show is all about. Be the Change talk show is space and place where it welcomes everybody who is truly a celebrity, a person who's actually following their heart and changing the world by their knowing and not trying to fit into this world and not trying to be average, normal, mediocre. And they just knew something different is possible. They have not been um, I'm sure they have been through a lot of tough times of being different, yet they chose to be that difference that they truly are. And with their presence, they have been gifting this world something new, something beautiful. And today I have a very, very beautiful being. And how did I get so lucky to have my this week's guest, Kiran Singh? And she is a sweetheart. I'm just lucky to have her here, and the show is very, very lucky to have her here. So I would let you know a little bit about her. Kiran Singh has always lived a varied and a cultured life, and she was actively involved in educating young minds born with a sense of wanting to contribute to the world. She has always been a spiritual quest. Her knowledge and activation covers modalities like EFT, Reiki, psychic healing, hypnosis therapy, rebirthing, breathwork, and tarot, to name a few. She then, along with her husband Ratandeep Singh, brought Access Consciousness to India. Access Consciousness for Kiran has been a gift that has transformed her life. She has she acts sorry Access empowered her to acknowledge that she understood happiness like a very few can and have. She now travels the world teaching Access Consciousness classes and empowering people to live the life that true to themselves. And she's an amazing being. She's just so magical, and I really, really invite her here on this platform. Kiran, can I have you here? Can we have you, Kiran? You'll have to unmute and get here. Yay!
You have to unmute.
Awesome. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on the show. How did this show get so
Thank you so much for having me, Aradhana.
grateful? So I know so much. I just wanted to start. I don't know where to start from, but I would give this whole battle to, like, I'm always been with Adi uncle. So that is Ratandeep Singh. So Ratandeep Singh and Kiran auntie just got access to India, and how did India get so lucky with it? But I would like you to start your journey from your childhood, where you have been, where how you have been, and how you have been to different modalities, and what got you to access here.
Well, let me start with my childhood. I've had a beautiful childhood, lovely parents and lovely siblings, lovely friends. However, there was one thing that was there in my childhood that I was very different. I'm not using the word. What I always do, I always say yes. I was considered very ugly. I come from a family where my parents, my brother, everybody is very good looking, But I was different. And very often, a lot of children have this question they come up with: was I adopted? Why am I so different? And that's the time. Now, when I look back, Aradhana, I remember looking into my mother's eyes every time I asked her, am I adopted, And that energy in her eyes of, no, my dear, you're beautiful the way you are.
Wow.
But then it was difficult for me to understand. Yes, I did understand that it's just my point of view that I get these thoughts in my mind because people kept saying it, and they won't say that I'm ugly on my face, but they'd say, oh my God, everybody's so good looking in your family. Who have you gone on? That sort of a thing.
Hmm.
And even when they won't say, I could hear them, I could hear their voices in my ear.
I do so resonate with you on that because I had been hearing that in my childhood as well. So thank
So
you for being this vulnerable with us here.
yeah, and so you can really well relate, like you said, to it, and the pain a child goes through. Though I did sweep it under the carpet, I never wanted to believe in it. But I was blessed. I had the gift of, reading people's minds. And as I grew up, that kept going on. And that's the time I shut it off because I really didn't want to hear that because I thought, okay, whoever I am, I'm okay. And I was an introvert. I was happy being alone. I didn't need anybody to play with. And I did have a very fantastic sense of humor. So it was all to cover up the I won't call it sadness, but that little thing that why am I different? And I did
Somewhere
make,
you were covering, right?
sorry?
Somewhere you were covering yourself
Yes,
with
I
other.
was. Today, I acknowledge that, though I didn't for a very long time. I said, no, no, it doesn't make me any difference. But I was compared to my cousins also and everybody and everything, with the result that I couldn't really be me because I wanted to shut myself off from everybody.
Yeah. So
So it
how
was
was it? What kept you going? What was the initial inside your motivation towards like.
motivation was that I had a beautiful connect with the universe, with nature, with energy, with God. I had such a fantastic connect with that. And my parents were a big support. My parents loved me a lot, and they never ever let me feel that I am weird or not. I'm different, including my relatives, my close relatives, my uncles, and all.
Mhm.
And that faith in, what should I say, in God or the universe or nature. Uh, and that's how I feel that their being making me feel weird was actually a contribution because I connected so well with nature.
Wow. Because I'm sure a lot of kids go, I have a question, because a lot of kids go that it's not you and me or some, but I'm sure I have seen it in my family with my brother. I've seen with a lot of other kids growing up and how we parents have judgments under the name of love of being a mother or a father. And but how we have been judged so crudely that is my daughter pretty, is my son pretty, and especially on the daughters, and also is my son good looking, how tall he is. I had so many projections on my son. So, what would you like to say to these kids? Because, who are growing up and who are actually coming up. And, even we've grown up so much, maybe 50, 60, 70 years, but we are still kid holding that energy is there.
So true, so true. I just feel now whenever I see a child, I keep looking into their eyes and telling them, what I mean, you're so beautiful. And what's your gift? You are a gift.
Yeah.
But know that you are like, I can't forget Dr. Dane's words that you are a gift to this planet because each and every child is a gift. And what is their uniqueness? They
How,
don't have to be like others.
yeah. So how do we outcreate that as a, because there's no ray of hope at that time to
Yes.
see your uniqueness. And it's like, because you know how a child is, and it's billions of people. And I remember seeing myself like that. And, there was a wedding in the family, and I heard my relatives, everybody in my friend, that my sister's more prettier. This is it. I'm darker. I'm blah, blah, blah. And I kept quiet as you swept down, but it deep down was always, it carried me until I got into access like only last 2, 3 years back, that I kind of could receive that, okay, it's not about the beauty outside, but yes, yet to even receive that was a big
How true? How true is that, Aradhana? Yes, as a child, because we, make people's whatever they say as true for us.
yeah.
But what I feel that my parents support. I mean, my parents never made me feel. In fact, they always said, my father always said, "Oh, she's so special," because he knew I had this ability of, being able to read people's minds or to say things that always, like if I'd say something, it would come true. So he and my mother would always tell me, that whatever you say comes true. So just think before you say.
Yeah.
She never made me wrong for it, but she just made me aware of it that please know, that you're kind to others when you say something.
Wow. So what is this outer beauty and inner beauty? What would you like to say on that? And what would you like to say to the world who's actually grown even the adults who are still kids and the kids who are growing through it? What would you like to say them? And
I'd like to say that till you don't recognize your inner beauty, till you don't acknowledge it, you'll never feel beautiful. You'll never, that's the energy we give out. Now, I'd just like to say one thing, that because of this, I did have barriers always, and such high barriers that I could also not see the world around me. I could not see the beauty around me. And it was only this one beautiful being who came into my life, RD, when I got to know him, that I could really put my barriers down in front of people, I'm saying. And where he's concerned, I've never had barriers because
wow,
he received me the way I was. And, and I have no words. I don't know how to say it, but he was the first person who really, really received me the way I was. But like you said, you still don't want to believe it.
correct.
You still feel, okay, what is it?
Yeah.
There are more people around me who are more beautiful.
True that. I totally am with you on that. And I think I have the same story, like how my husband got into my life and he just received me as who I was. And I
Yeah.
was like, is he okay? Does he is like everything okay? What did he see in me? Why did he say maybe he's some interest in me? But I'm like, there can't be any interest in me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're getting. So coming fast forwarding your life from there to getting married, and when you got married, so you had no barriers with ID, and you're having a long relationship, that's what, and what else is
Yeah.
possible. So can you say more about then how did all this contribute into your greater relationships, and what did it contribute in a longer run?
See, I got engaged to RD straight out of school. And once I got engaged to him, um, before that, when my father asked me, like, we have joint arranged marriages here. So when he asked me, and I said, I don't know him at all. I was just straight out of school. And I had cousins who are older than me, very pretty, and, the most wanted girls around and all. And somebody is asking for me. So he says, no, but they've chosen you and they want you. So would you want to get married to him?
Wow.
The only thing I said is, I don't know him. And what if we don't get along? At times, there are two people, they may be beautiful people, but, and there's no reason that you don't get along, you know? So then he said, no, then don't worry. I'll break off the engagement if you don't get along. You'll have 3 years to get to know him. I said, no, then you'll say my society and my people. And he said, no, I will not ask you a question. You know, you have 3 years to pick up your mind and to get to know him.
No.
And I will never ask you what's the reason. Yes, if you tell me I don't want to get married to him, fine. So that gave me so much of ease. And when I got engaged to RD, because I didn't know him, he asked me, how did you say yes? We'd never met. So I said, I never said yes. I just told them that we'll get to know each other.
How lovely.
So, that he felt that I was really vulnerable at that time. I was open. I had no hidden agendas, nothing. There was just joy in this thing. And my mother used to say, in college, girls have boyfriends and all. So I'm going to get her a permanent boyfriend.
So you mean marriages don't are not based on looks?
I wonder at times, Aradhana, I wonder. Because I always feel that when you don't know the person, it's just the looks. And I'll tell you something very from my heart, that in college, when people asked me, how is he handsome? And I thought for a moment, I said, I don't even know if he's handsome, because I just spoke to him and I found him so beautiful. The energy was so lovely. I said, my God, I didn't know that.
Can you see? It's so wow. When you just said that, it's like how we have actually defined what handsome is and not, right? How many definitions of handsome are we holding in place?
Yes,
Wow,
so
that
true.
is so beautiful. I know that just swept something out of my heart right now. Thank you for that. And interestingly, so I mean, what is the secret to your like? I think you guys have been married for how many years now?
46 years.
Wow. And what's the secret? What
Known each other for 3 years more.
just 3 more. I mean, many more years. I'm
Yes.
sure another double this is. So, but what is the secret here?
See, the secret here is, firstly, have no point of view. I had no point of view about marriage. That, and the thing that it's for keeps and you can't get out of it and you can't this thing. All I knew is that you have a beautiful partner, somebody you can share your life with, somebody you can have fun with.
Wow.
That was the childlike thing I had in me. And I had no fear that what if we don't get along. I may have said it to my father, but in my hearts of hearts, once I met RD, I didn't have that at all.
Wow.
So it was like, what more can we do together? How can we? And that is why I always share that we've done all moralities together. It's not that he ever forced me or I told him I want to do this. No, it was just that together, let's do this, let's do it together. And there are a lot of things which we have not done together. Like I love going to places of worship, which he doesn't. And I have never asked him to come, but he has driven me there, and he stayed in the car till I go and sit for a while and absorb the energies and come back.
And like you like green tea, but he doesn't.
I, thank you for that. There are lots of things.
How can I forget that? I remember, guys, my first foundation I did with ID and Kiran in Chandigarh, and I remember this whole discussion in the class about green tea
Green tea.
and how and healthy tea, and he kept mentioning it, and I was like, wow, and I remember gifting Kiran auntie
Beautiful.
a beautiful gift, a green tea set, so
Yeah.
that he can always be reminded of it. I love that part of it. But yeah, I love that whole aspect of you. So, what are your key, steps? I mean, what would you recommend to people? What is, I know you, it's like when RD got added to your life expanded. And we always say, how can I add
Yeah.
somebody to my life? It's not divorcing yourself. So, you mean you never had any differences? You never had any
No,
issues?
we did. That's why I always shared. But initially, till I got into Access, if there were things that were not, like they were different, then I'd make myself wrong for it. That why can't I like it, or why can't I allow him to really, really enjoy it? If there were any differences. Whereas after Access, that allowance is there, and uh, we still have our ups and downs. I'm not saying that, but there's no wrongness in it.
Wow. So you mean when you are wrong, when you're upset, when you're fighting with each other,
You're
you're
making each
allowed
other
some.
wrong. So, when you make each other wrong, is not actually, you're not honoring each other. You may forget that he has his likes and I have my likes, okay? That we are different. But it can't be that if he does this for me, I love him, I'll honor him. No, you honor the being. You get? So that doesn't change. So
Yeah,
what I just feel is that you don't hold things against anybody, especially a person who you spent beautiful time with.
correct. Because
You
I've always seen you supporting him, like I've seen you at your home, I've seen you out of home, I've seen you empowering people together and, coaching together and, taking classes together. And the synchronicity about you both is beautiful, how it just matches, how it melts everyone's. And it's like never, it's like how you sleep with your parents and you think they never had sex. It's like you look at you both and you never fought. So it's like what's that? Like, I
No,
was
we
always
do.
wanted to know.
We do fine. See, about caring and what you're saying about doing things, it comes from within. Aradhana, it's not a put on, because you can put it on for a year or for 2 years or maybe for some more time, but you cannot live like that. It's like literally divorcing parts of you.
Yeah.
Whereas he has also supported me in so many things, which I mean, I don't think I could have ever done. In our time, girls modeling, it was considered, especially after marriage, I have done everything and he has supported me. In fact, he's pushed me. Why not? I've acted in TV serials. I've done my BEd after marriage as a regular student.
Ugly woman could do
Yeah, I know
anything to
that's a beauty.
do.
Because my husband made me,
Really?
he kept saying that I'm beautiful. Yeah. I mean, he never said I'm beautiful. He just loved me and made
Because you're so pretty. I've seen all your pictures as I was seeing you before the talk show. I have never seen you not being pretty. But yeah, I know it's our point of view that kind of gets stuck somewhere.
I did so much after marriage, did theater, did plays in different cities. I went, and he never had a point of view. He never ever, doubted, oh my God, children are here, the nanny is looking after the kids, and you are busy acting in plays in different cities. No, he was always there with me.
Wow.
So, it's a thing that, and I didn't tell him to do it. And when we are doing together, when we are working together, it comes naturally. If it doesn't, then we tell each other that it's okay. This is your cup of tea. Please enjoy it.
Wow. So it's like also I've also seen you how you enjoy being a homemaker. I mean, you brought your beautiful two son, and now you're bringing up your grandkids beautifully, and you know how you synchronize into your house and your kitchen and your, I don't see you ever making all this wrong like most of the women would do. That I'm doing the household work, I'm doing this, and then you're taking a husband, blah blah blah, and then extramarital affairs, and then another person. What is that, and what? How would you like to say around that
I,
as a
I
woman, empowering another woman?
Yeah, I'd just like to say one thing here regarding family, children, the grandchildren. Now, such a beautiful question at such a time, because the last 10, 15 days, I've been really, really, it's been coming to my mind. All the, like whenever anything is there, the tools of access are there to create ease for me. However, these 15 days, I've been thinking about so much about that my family. When I think about them, if they're going through something, it disturbs me, and I have a choice here of not getting disturbed or being the mother. And somewhere I said, why am I fighting it? Okay, it's a label, mother. I am a mother.
Yeah.
And I'm not, making it so significant, but yes. And all that I go through because of them, I love my grandkids. So we said we shouldn't get sucked into their drama.
Yeah.
But then when they look and they smile, it brightens my life, my world. So I
Wow.
don't mind getting sucked into their thing as long as I can be a contribution to them.
Yeah. So can you more talk about this contribution? What is a contribution to a family, to a house, to a kids? And you've been a faceted woman who's empowering people, who's changing, smiling, and being herself all the time. So there's so many talents in you, which is like I can keep going on and on. So I would like you to ask more around you that how do you multitask and just be?
I just love doing what I love doing. And I do a lot. That's like the home. I love cooking. I love looking after people. I do it joyfully. It is not that I have to do it. There were times when I thought I had to do it.
Mhm.
But no, I realized that it's the joy I get. I love doing it. And earlier, I would have done it at my expense, which that's one thing we really fight about. As RD always says, that you push yourself too much. Why do you have to, do? But I tell him the joy I get, it's worth everything. So what you beautifully use that thing of saying being me. Earlier, I didn't know being me was so beautiful.
It is.
It is. And again, so much of gratitude to Dr. Dane and Gary,
Yes.
that got, they've brought this out. And that's why what you said, that I realized that this happiness is, we all have the thing to be happy.
So what was that? What actually made you shift from that you had to and this is being me?
Yeah. Like it was firstly the labels. In our relationship, when I used called RD was my husband, I changed it to partner, I changed it to friend. Every label had some expectation.
Wow.
But when I just said, oh, I'm so grateful for this being in my life, that's the time I really got freedom. And the same thing is with the family and with doing. When I was doing, I had to do it. This reality, so and so I have to do it. But when I started being me, the joy of doing was there. The doing what I was like, being me for everybody.
So you were not doing from the force, basically. You were doing from your total space of
Yeah.
joy, and that's being
And
you.
earlier, I thought I did it from this reality. What I was supposed to, like I said, my mother was a beautiful person. She was such an amazing person. I can't tell you, not because she's my mother, but as a being, she was most amazing being I have ever come across in my life. And seeing her, I learned a lot from her, and I enjoyed being that. So there was no, it wasn't that I was doing it out of force. I just thought that still I was living, in the box, in this
Oh,
society, in this reality. I'm
and where
supposed,
did you learn that rules of this box?
I learned it while I was growing up.
Okay.
with all this thing about such is life. And actually, when I saw her being her, and yet doing for, because she came from a different generation, and that generation, she was really, really loved and appreciated for being who she was. So I loved her, and I just kind of, like they say, biomimetic mimicking.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you.
I know.
Yeah.
But when I acknowledged that, and I said, I let that go, but I'll still like to be me
Wow.
and
So you
do.
think you handpicked everything what you wanted from your father and your mother and everybody around
It came naturally now. It comes naturally now,
now.
you
Wow.
know?
Yeah.
So it's not that I have to make an effort to do anything.
Wow.
I don't have to make an effort to,
So,
uh,
and you've done so many modalities, like,
yes,
from A to B, A to Z, I guess you both have done all the modalities.
yes,
What what is so special about Access that you go empower? I mean, I'm sure you're working all and you take all the help from all the tools,
yeah.
and nothing is wrong and nothing is right.
Nothing is
Yes.
wrong,
Yeah.
nothing is right. But every modality contributed something or the other. And the only thing why we love access is it gives you the freedom. And it's not a modality, it's just set of tools
Yeah.
that create so much of ease and empower you to be you. All the other modalities have, like follow me, kind of. You have a problem, come to me. Here, you have a problem, use the tools of access. And you are your own boss. So it is so empowering. And I feel if everyone can just you use the tools, get to know about it, and use what you like. Again, I'm not saying that this is the only thing, please. It is beautiful. It has changed a lot for me, and that is why I love it. And it's changed a lot for Adi also.
Yeah.
I see Adi talk so much, smile so much.
And
Earlier it was
yeah.
silent one.
And so, how did it affect your kids? Did any of your kids like kind of got into it, or what is it? How is it with the family and then the world when you do this access, or
That's
any?
a beautiful question because my children are blessed to have wonderful kids, both the boys and my daughter-in-law. All three have done the bars and foundation. And my grandchildren use so much of access, I can't tell you. They use a lot of access tools. And my daughter-in-law, she also does. And my sons, of course, they believe in it. But it's something so beautiful that they see, my elder son, he's such a gem, I can't tell you, both the boys. And I so many times tell him, why don't you do this? You don't like your job, just chuck it. He says, Mama, I have to pay bills. I have a family. And you know, I'm an allowance of what he's going through. But he loves the clearings. He knows that he can create for him. He's a pure humanoid. The younger one is also a humanoid. So the full family, and my daughter-in-law is using the tools with the grandchildren.
Oh,
So, okay, she may not be doing it herself, but she makes sure any problem, return to sender, get your bars run.
I
So
love.
whatever they can do, and they are in total allowance of us, that whatever may be happening, mom and dad are totally cool about the whole thing.
Yeah. So how did your life change? Like, I've seen that change, and I've heard from you your stories about how your life from the army background, how you lived to now after Access, and where you were like about to retire into your life, and then suddenly you're flying all the time. You're
I
in different parts of the world every moment and every day. And other than the Corona thing, but you have been flying, you've been moving. So what was that change and shift, and what is the secret to that, and what are the tools?
secret to that is ask and you shall receive. Choose and just keep choosing, and you can just change. You can you can create whatever you want if you really desire to. It's not that you say these two things and this will happen. No, you be the energy. Once you're the energy of whatever you desire, it just shows up.
So what is energy? Because people who are joining on this platform might not be from Access, not buying from any energy background. So what invites them to this platform? Because you were the first lady in India, along with Ratandeep Singh sir, who got access to India, or like, you brought so much of change in this whole planet. I mean, this at least this part of the continent, like India at least. And India is a big country. So you
Yeah.
started that fire. You were the cause of that fire. So
For me, energy, everything is energy.
yeah.
When you talk about energy, to be very honest, when I, got to know about Access, I didn't know what energy was. And once I started sensing that energy, I realized that one was aware of it even when you were kids. You get you go into a family, into somebody's house, and if the family's had a fight, how do you get to know? It's the energy.
Right.
And there are certain places you go to where you feel very heavy, and we call it negative energy. I don't think there's anything as negative or positive energy. Energy is energy, which is beautiful. It may be heavy for you, or it may be light and beautiful. So once I started experiencing, everybody experiences it. You just need to connect with yourself, connect with the energy around you. It's as simple. It's no rocket science or anything. Energy is there. In fact, when you put your hands together, also you can sense the energy between your hands, between your palms.
Yeah. And I've seen you how beautifully you always kept your house, how you've nurtured and cared for your house. But once access, I mean, you started empowering, and you both have been traveling, you have been shutting down your house, and the world has become your house, so home. So how do you manage that? And with that, and I'm there are a lot of bodies that have been changing with your magic. So what is the magic to that?
See, regarding my house, I love my house. And earlier, I just loved it. I don't know why I loved it, because I think it gave me ease and joy and happiness, and we were there, and the kids' laughter, and all that fighting of the kids, and the beautiful moments and not the very beautiful moments. Everything was there in the house. However, now I connect with my house, and the house connects to us, and it contributes to us.
Wow, that's
So
so amazing.
that's what I said. In every sphere of my life, things have just expanded. This access has been such an expansive, what should say, contribution to us. I can't tell you. I can't
What
name
is
it.
the magic in access?
It's just magic. And we all are magic. I keep telling everybody we all are magic.
True. So,
So till
what one tool would you like to say to the newcomers who have no background of access, who do not know what access is, who do not know what consciousness is, and they're like, okay, must be another modality, must be something else, what keeps them happy, whatever, how people used to say me, whatever keeps you happy, Aradhana, you know.
For me, the tool that I use a lot is what's right about it. And how does it get any better than this? Whatever happens, even when my heart misses a beat for whatever I've heard or whatever, is happening, what's right about it? And how does it get any better than this? It's something so beautiful. And yes, how access the two beautiful tools of allowance and no judgment has allowed me to see everybody, the beautiful, side of everybody.
So you mean no judgment, we can't gossip, we can't say bad things
Of
about
course,
people?
we can gossip. Who said that? There is, I mean, anything that gives you joy. Yeah.
Oh,
As,
you mean you can gossip?
as long as you're not being unkind to anybody.
What is that? What is that unkindness? How would you say about it?
Unkindness is, you know, it's just, uh, I don't know. For me, unkindness is, I don't even know what unkindness is, because I feel just kindnesses should be there. You see somebody without a smile, make them smile. And that would include anybody. You see somebody that, thele wala, I mean, a vegetable vendor who comes home to this thing. And if you can just say something that'll bring a smile to his face, it makes my day. Yeah.
How do you bring a smile to a person who's really talking crap about you and who's really bullshitting about you? How do you be with that person?
Just smile and say, wow, I didn't know that
You want to
that
spoil
this
them.
side of mine existed. Thank you.
Wow. So you mean you receive them like, okay, it's okay for you to say that I'm a cunt?
That's this choice. I just land up saying, my God, it's your choice. You can say and do what you feel like, but don't expect me to say yes or no to it.
Wow. So that's the allowance that you have for you first.
Yeah.
Wow.
Earlier, I didn't know if there was anything like honoring yourself or loving yourself. I'm being very honest with you because for me, I came last in everything. I mean, if I
Yeah.
was doing something for somebody, I put myself right in the end. That let me do it for others, let me feed others, let me do this, and then I will.
So how does that change?
So that changed with I don't have to feed myself first. I can be with them. We can do it together. Because I mean, if I'm dishonoring myself, how can I ever honor anybody?
Wow. So does that mean like if you're sitting on the table that you start eating the first or with them or what is that? Like give me an example. Like
The example is that, like it's you first, earlier it was that let everybody have the best and then I'll have it. Now it is we all can have the best.
wow.
There's no either or in it. For us to be kind to people, we always feel that you, you can either be kind to them or to yourself. No, you can be kind to everybody, including yourself.
Wow. And the first person you forget is you. Am I correct?
Always. I didn't even know that I mean, I could honor myself. I could love myself. I didn't know that.
Oh,
And it was so, when I read the books, the foundation, and I said, till you don't love yourself, how do you expect anybody to love you?
wow. So,
So
yeah, go ahead. So is it that so these courses that you empower people with and you you travel the world. So what do you teach? What is your like what do you how do you empower people? Like what is it
basically, this being you.
being you? So I get it. I'm asking for everybody who's here
Yeah,
who's
I know that. That's
just
why I said,
yeah,
that's why I repeated it.
yeah. So it is being you. So what do you mean being you? Like if I'm a new person, I remember me struggling with it for years. Like what is
Yeah,
being you? Like what is being you for you?
because we live in this reality,
What
and
is this reality? I mean,
this
this
reality is
reality is people.
reality created by the people around us,
Oh, wow.
and it is their reality, and we make that ours, whereas we don't fit into it. We would like to do, and be. We'd like to be ourselves. You may like to do something. You may like to create something greater. I'm not saying better because we don't judge what they're doing is wrong. We don't fight this reality. We don't make it wrong. But yes, we know that we can create our own reality by being us.
But
And
how do you be like most of the women have this issue like and how do I be when I really want to do it but my husband feels bad or the husband says my wife feels bad and it's so tough and it's easier said than done बच्चों को देखना है husband को देखना है family को देखना है in-laws को देखना है कहना आसान होता है my husband will not give me money blah 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 what is
all these points of views, all these are points of views which we buy and we make ours. I'll give you a small example of somebody who was going through a lot of abuse. And after she did her foundation, I said, when you go home, just see him the way he is. She says, no, I know. He cannot change. So I said, thank you for that. It means he'll never change. I said, what if you see him as a person, he may abuse you still. I'm not saying that he won't, but at least give him a chance. So all these things like my husband will not give me money, I have children, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I have to look after this, are all points of views. And till we keep buying those points of views, we're not making room for any change.
wow.
It's just like, you're stuffed with that. It's like you declutter yourself and say, okay, now let me see what can I create. Only when there is space can you create something, no? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
just an example.
yeah, that's so
The
beautiful.
minute you let go of points of views that you have bought, Can you think of something different, something greater? You know?
So that is being you and be the change you
Yeah.
choose to be. And do you think everybody can be the change? Everybody can be the change that.
Everyone. This is what another thing that I have a takeaway from Access. What I can say is that we feel that just by me changing, how can the world change? Or what difference is it going to make? Believe me, Aradhana, if you one person changes, so many people around you change. They see you and they say, wow, she can do it, even I can do it.
Wow,
Wow, even this is, half the time people are not even aware that they can.
true that.
They're not even aware that there is another choice, that they have a choice. You'll hear most of the people saying, I have no choice. Yeah. I don't have a choice. I have to live my life like this. You
Yeah.
all have a choice.
And no choice is also a
A
choice.
choice, yeah. But that's what you're choosing for yourself. A no choice is a choice you're choosing for yourself.
Wow. No choice is a choice you're choosing for yourself, guys. Do you listen to that? No choice is a choice that you guys are choosing for you.
Yeah.
Mark
So,
it.
so what will it take for you to kind of look around and say, wow,
Wow.
what did I do to change this?
So you've done so many modalities along with Access. What is your take on life? What is life? What is consciousness? What is how to be in the world? What is it?
See, like I said, every modality got us to where we are today. So I do have gratitude for every modality. It was a step.
Correct.
And some modalities, I still like meditation.
Yeah.
I love it. I may do it or not do it is not the point. Like what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of things and a lot of modalities actually lead to healing. So it is like healing is, just the upper part of a particular thing. Whereas Access gives you the tools to go deep down. What is it that has caused that?
Wow.
So, Access has opened up so much. It has shown that there is so much more than what we knew or we've learned. And you just need to, and it's not that you have to learn it or anything. You just have to keep asking questions, and more shows up.
So can I ask you one question?
Most
And
welcome.
so I've been asking a lot of questions. So I mean, if it was not about Access, it was not about any other modality. What do
Huh.
you know about life, and what is your knowing?
My knowing is then I was fitting in the box. I was happy doing what I'm doing, what I was doing, and living from the rules of this reality. Though I wanted to, you know, uh, at times break the rules also, which I did. Let me tell you that.
That I want to know that secret.
Yeah, I know you were coming to that. But for that, it was like I did have Adi by my side who um, accepted me the way I am, and he didn't find any wrongness in it. So here I feel that you need to see the situation and then choose for yourself. That is why we say you make a choice.
Mm, wow. So what is the gift that you are?
But just me, that or I can only say that. That's
I can definitely say for you. I just want to hear from you today. It's like I can.
Radha, I could never ever, like you said this, if earlier anybody said anything, oh, this is very nice, or this cooked very, oh, the house, I would want to run away. But today I can hear it, I can acknowledge, and I say, I receive it.
Wow.
Still, this is what you asked me just now is, I think, one step even higher, which maybe next time.
Yes,
I
definitely.
wonder, I wonder.
Yeah. So what would you like to say to the people who actually give up, who don't have, and as I was asking, and I have heard that army stories that you also, I also wanted to know two things. One was, first, let me answer first question, which we probably were going towards, and you just took RD's name and
Okay.
again skipped that. What, let me know what is naughty Kiran.
Well, I'd like to have fun. I also like to have fun, and I also like to break rules, and I also like.
Did you ever kind of see anything beyond RD? Anybody beyond
Yes.
RD?
Yes. No. See, RD's always been there. RD, no one can ever, ever, I cannot see, if ever I saw beyond RD, it was with RD by my side. You get what
Wow.
I mean?
Yeah, I
But
get.
yes, I could talk to him. I could say anything to him.
Wow, that's so
I
beautiful.
mean, I've bared myself totally, even like you say, no, the devil in you, the demon bitch from hell,
Yeah.
anything I could say to him.
So it was not because it was RD or it was because of the Indian marriage. It was just because you chose to be with him.
Yes, yes, that's
And
what I'm saying. See,
that
here you need to choose, because if you need to be kind to your partner, or your whoever is there with you, who you're sharing your life with. There may be things person is not ready to,
yeah,
take, and I wouldn't want to hurt anybody.
yeah.
But there, I would have been different.
But were you so kind to yourself that you could be kind to him?
Uh, I I am kind to myself now, and yes, I've always been kind to him.
Yeah,
I can say that.
yeah. I mean, I that's my interesting point of view, guys, and that's what like I just feel that you cannot be some to somebody if unless you're not, and as Dr. Dane also says that
Yes,
always
yes, yes.
that
I
you cannot be and you cannot see unless you're not being.
exactly.
But yeah. So the other question I wanted to ask you was, what is that people giving up, and and how you remember telling me the stories that how you had a very limited money and you still did not kind of save that money, and you guys took that money and traveled the world and did everything you and Adi wanted to do together. You being the woman who had those desires, as a woman mostly have those desires. I want this, I want that. How was that whole balance, and how did you carry on? And now you're flying the way you want to fly and living the life.
Yeah.
Could you talk about
Uh,
that?
like everybody knows, in the army, earlier, the money was a little limited, but you were exposed to a beautiful life. The kind of parties we had, and the kind of hobbies you could indulge in, horse riding, and there was croquet, and there were libraries, swimming, everything you could do, which, if you were not in the army, you'd have to pay a lot for. Okay. So that came with that. But money, cash in hand, was very little. And Adi never believed in saving. He believed in living life for today. He says, who's seen tomorrow?
Wow.
And whenever he said that, I just wanted to believe him, and I believed him. It's maybe just once a blue moon, I'd say, my God, everybody's got a house. Yeah, we don't even have a house. So he'd say that, have you ever had a problem about money? Why do you think about it? I said, no, I don't. And honestly, I would once in a while, when I needed the money and there was no money in the bank, I'd think about it. But otherwise, I too had total faith in what, like Adi said, it will show up. And it did show up.
Wow.
Anytime, every time, it would show up. It was so beautiful that, uh, I always say that it was his faith that you will never, not have money or comfort or whatever it is. So we've lived a beautiful life so far. With our children have had a lovely time. We've not wasted money or anything, and money showed up whenever it had to.
Wow.
And
And
I must
yeah.
share one thing, that when we were in the army and before he was retiring, he said, when I retire, he'll get some money. He said, I'm going to take you around the world in business class. I was so angry. I said, you take me around the world, yeah, just like that in economy, but take me around the world,
That.
fun. And I want to shop. I said, I want to shop to my heart's content. And that time I was living from either or.
Mm,
And he said, why? I mean, why are you settling for either shopping or business class? He said, I'll take you business class. And there's been no looking back after that.
yeah. Wow.
And shopping has not been so very this thing. I mean, still, if there's anything I want to buy, don't have to think twice. I
Wow.
know money will show up.
Wow. So that's a trust that
It
he had.
is.
You had.
And it always shows up. Folks, whoever's listening, please know, ask, and be the energy of receiving that and be the energy of that, desire, it will show.
Wow. So what about the people who kind of give up and, my always motto is don't give up, don't give in, don't quit ever. What would you like to say on
Beautiful. That is beautiful. I just like them to know that if only they realize that there is definitely more to what they are seeing, like the horse has those things on the side.
that? Mm-hmm.
They can only see that much. Just
Mm.
drop those. And the world is beautiful.
So what one tool would you like to give them at that moment where you can't see, you're into that depression, you're into that anxiety, you're like, you really can't see, you don't want to hear anybody, you don't want to hear lectures. And we say that time, we say, these
Yes,
lectures, please keep your lecture off, right?
exactly.
So,
But
yeah.
I just feel this depression and anxiety is never theirs. It's never theirs.
Yeah.
So if they can just remind themselves that this is not mine, whose is it? Return to sender. It's just as simple as that. That, like you said, they don't want to hear anything. I know, I've also heard a lot of people. So it's fine. Just know it's not yours. This too shall pass.
And how do you go with the people who have it in their family, such people going through the depression, anxiety, in spite of them having the tools in their hand, they cannot help them. So how to be with that energy?
See, you can't help anyone, Aradhana. You know that. They just have to choose. All you can do is show them, yes, these are the tools. This is it. Ask them questions. And if they don't choose to change, if only we could be in allowance of them for not choosing the change. I have noticed that very often, even our close people at times, you really want them to do it. What the hell? Yeah, it's so simple. It's so nice. You can just try it. The more you, persist, they resist.
Correct.
So if you can just be in allowances, it's fine. There's nothing right or wrong about it.
So people also have this point of view that, this is a healing modality. You guys are doing so much, you're into healing. And if you cannot heal the people in your house, you can't even connect them. You can't change your lives. It's about money. And this is only money making game. And you're not praying for others. How would you rate that to that spiritual world to this world?
See, it's as simple as it's a choice they're making. They're just choosing.
But they say, I would not make choice to get myself diseased and, cancer. Why would I like to die? Why would I like to be in depression? So what would you like to say there?
That is it. I have heard this question very often, that why would I choose this?
Yeah.
I wonder. All they have to do is to acknowledge that they have chosen it. And if they do acknowledge it, they can uncreate it. If they've created it for themselves, all they need to do is acknowledge it from their heart. They don't have to go into why have I chosen it.
Mhm.
We don't believe in that drama. We don't believe in an explanation or anything. Oh shit. Why am I choosing this crap in my life? What will it take for me to change this, to destroy and uncreate it? Just a simple statement from your heart can change a lot. You just need to play with it.
And you've done so many spiritual. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we make it very serious.
Yeah.
No, if you can just play with the tools,
So,
they are.
but then these tools come very expensive as per people. Access is very
That's a
expensive.
point of view.
And spiritualism is not about, and you can't, for healing, you're asking money. Is that being spiritual? What is that?
Actually, you need no money for healing. You can heal yourself. Why don't you do it? It's because you need to, you want to know more about it. So please do pay for it. Till you don't pay an amount that really tickles you somewhere in your body or in your mind, you will not receive the change.
Wow. So how is it different from other modalities like Reiki and all that, and different modalities? I know this question comes pretty often, and you become, I mean, being the access facilitator and empowering the world. I really want like to hear your thing on it.
See, every modality, any modality that's light for you, go for it. There's nothing right or wrong. But what I like about Access is that it is so simple. You don't have to have a guru for it, or you don't have to, go back to somebody from who you've done a class, you've got the tools. Don't do any other class for a year or two. You can still use the tools. And there are so many free videos on YouTube. Just hearing them, you can change your life if you desire to. That is the basic thing. We don't desire to. We want to go from one modality to another. This is not working for me. This is not working for me. Are you choosing change?
Wow. Are you guys? Are you choosing?
Yes, we are loving it. In fact, I tell people to play with the tools. I'd just like to share here that when we just did our bars, we hadn't heard about access consciousness. We read the book Being You, Changing the World. And we were in Australia. Adi did the bars class, and then I did the bars class, and both became facilitators and were coming. So when we were traveling, we had only done bars. And that's the time I started playing with the tools. I had excess baggage. So the minute I reached the counter, I kept saying, how does it get any better than that? How does it get any better than that? And that lady didn't even look at the weight.
Wow.
I said, wow, this is magic. We went ahead. Now, my grandchildren were very small. They were barely 2.5 years old that time. And my grandson was very fond of the aircraft crew, the pilot. So I saw the crew coming and they were also walking that side. And I said, I must use the tool of pulling energy. So I started pulling energy, pulling energy. What will it take for the pilot to look down at my grandson and wave at him? You know how grandmothers are. And it didn't happen. I went into, oh my God, maybe I didn't know how to do it. I've just done the bars and things like that. After that, we all were sitting there and there was a window and we were seeing people, going towards the aircraft after their immigration and everything. And my grandson was sitting on the table and he's looking at the people. The same crew went from there. They went ahead, came back, waved at my grandchild.
Wow. My whole body just went zooked.
Yeah. So it shows up when it has to show up, when it's, absolutely. I thought, see, at that time he was at the eye level because he was sitting on the table. Had he done it, would have been for a split second. So there's no wrongness in anything. And the tools are so simple. You can imagine just having done bars. We
Yeah.
were creating that change. Wow, the tools are so beautiful. Please, I keep telling people, play with the tools.
Yeah.
Don't test them. Don't test them. If you're testing them, it's a different kind of an energy.
That was beautiful. Anything else you would like to say to the viewers who is watching it now or in the future that you would like them to keep in their pocket all the time?
Just know that you can create whatever you desire. If you really desire, and I mean, being unhappy is again a choice. So what will it take for you to choose happiness?
Wow. That's so beautiful. I loved every bit of it. And I can give on and on. But yeah, I think thank you so much. It was such
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to have you here. And I'm so, so grateful for you to say yes to this. And I hope it contributed to everybody who's watching it now or in the future. Thank you, everybody showing up here. And thank you, all my team, Sonali, Shivangi, Umesh, for all the work, all the help, all the joy that you be and the contribution you to be to this talk show. And keep looking into it, guys. We have much more stuff coming up this week. And again, of course, every Sunday, 7 o'clock, we have a new guest, new share, new celebrity, new thoughts, and what else is possible.
Thank,
Awesome. Thank you.
thank you so much, Aradhana, and thank you everybody who's listening to it.
Thank you.
Joy and happiness to everyone. Bye.
Thank you.